Wednesday, hump day. It's a big boy slate, 9-gamer. Little curve in the slate. Is that the little curveball? No games at 7 o'clock, so that's why we're coming on a little bit later. Of course, we'll be staying on later as well. We'll be yielding to the crunch time crew around 7 o'clock. You got Kevin Roth steering that ship with Keith Eyster, Eyes, as well as Andy Means. Of course, we're going to do the heavy lifting, right? We're going to be delegating minute by minute as far as usage. We're here for an hour and a half, 90 minutes, give or take. Andre, have not seen you in a while. Welcome back. 3-man booth, like big slate. We're not messing around. 9-gamer, you're talking winning $1 million parlay pre-show. You're due. This is the night it goes down. I'm sure you'll sprinkle in some of your favorites, player prop takes as well. I would imagine so. How are things in your world, Andre? And welcome to the show.
Well, again, thanks. It's been too long, but on the next 3 days, I'm excited about that. But yeah, I've just been, been grinding, working, and I'm excited. I think tonight is the night. I've been close the past few nights to hitting these big parlays, so I think tonight might be the night where I pull it off and do it, and go big for it.
We also have Kid Yahoo. You dip your toes in the player props and the betting streets as well. It's Kirkwood. What's up, Kirky? Is Kirkwood on mute straight out the gate? Good Lord.
Straight out the gate. All right. What I was saying is that's a false statement that you just made.
What did I say wrong?
I'm not in the prop streets. I haven't been in the prop streets. So it takes me, I have to drive an hour to go put bets in, but I do put bets in, but I got limited. So I'm pissed off at DraftKings right now at the moment.
You won too much money. You're too good.
It's exactly what happened. I'm not kidding. That's exactly what happened.
You need a proxy. It's coming to Massachusetts soon, right?
Yeah. So that's the good news is that I'll have like 10 plus new options coming in around a little bit after the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, was it MMA bets that did you win?
Yeah, it was UFC. I smashed them all year in UFC.
I know you've been crushing those all year long. So on your podcast, the Tournament Takes podcast, you'd always sprinkle them in, or you'd sprinkle them in sometimes. The football podcast, you kind of throw them out there for the people that were listening. But, you do crush the DFS streets and Kid in the Yahoo streets specifically. We can confirm that. Is that true? Is that a fact?
Yes. And a big update for the people who want to know. They want to know if I can log into my Fanduel account yet. After I tweeted about it, because like everyone was bitching about overlay, and I just said I'm happy that you guys didn't get overlay because I've been locked out for over a month. Coincidentally, I heard from them. I sent that on like Saturday night, and I got a reply on Sunday, so we've unlocked the account. So we're back in business.
Oh, they're trying to get everyone's money now.
Have you proven that you're a human yet, though? Like I know that's
I haven't had that problem with the bot that I've seen it before, but
I've had that before. You had to hold the button long enough. I guess humans wouldn't do that. Humans would just tap the button. I'm not really sure how that works with bots, but there you go. All right, 9 games.
Gotta pick how many fire hydrants you see, and
I get those wrong sometimes, man.
Of course, no, nothing's worse than like the letters. Like whenever they write, you can't. I mess them up. I can't read them.
Yeah,
get some good penmanship.
And it's like the bike is like just barely in the other square, and I'm like, is it in that square? I don't. It's like it's yes or no. I don't know. Yeah,
that's like that should be on Larry. That should be on a curb episode.
Yeah. New season coming up soon, I believe. Maybe this year.
But anyways, let's go tonight. Andre's bringing the mojo. I'm psyched to do a show with him. He's got 26 props lined up, ready to go. Let's hit them all.
Yeah, DFS perspective. We're going to go game by game, obviously. What's up, chat? Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications, hit all the things, hit all the buttons. We appreciate all that. Give us the old thumbs up before Roth comes in. Nasri, we talked about this one on the Scores and Odds show. If you guys watched that one, myself and Grant, and Rudy Gobert staring across the way, looking at Jokic, and he's dealing with a bit of a groin. He's a part of one of the worst trades in the history of basketball, getting ripped by everybody. Ain't no way he wanted the smoke of he wanted no part of Jokic. And Naz Reid is going to be the DFS. I don't want to say lock, but he's going to be the most popular play in this slate by far because Gobert. What's up?
It has nothing to do with him not wanting the smoke.
What do you mean?
He just was hurt.
He tried to play last game on a revenge game, and then he grabbed it. He was dealing with it.
And he got hurt. He couldn't do it.
But I'm saying, even if he was 100%, Jokic is like hitting 1,000% from inside the 3-point line the last 4 games. He's outrageous on his way potentially to win the MVP again. I know it's boring to give it to the same person over and over again, and there's fatigue amongst the voters, but he's almost kind of like forcing them to vote for him again. But there's plenty of other guys. We're only halfway through the season, but I mean, I guess he's hurt. But even if he's like 90%, if it was
hurt, it was stupid that he tried to play that they played him in that game.
Well, I'm upset about it too because I had some really good lineups with Gobert that night. I guess you did too. I feel like that's
no. I watched the game. I'm not touching that guy. Are you kidding me?
You saw him grabbing at his junk, walking to the locker room, and like, oh, this guy ain't coming back. That's it.
Yeah,
and he's not going to play 90% versus Jokic. He's already getting beat up plenty for Again, it's not his fault. He was a part of that trade, but the Minnesota organization.
We should have canceled him when he started COVID.
That wasn't this. I don't think he had malicious intent.
That was the crazy. Remember that night? That was just so bananas. It was like, what is going on with the world? I'm like cashing out of everything.
Cashing out of everything.
You put it on Top Shots?
Then I did put it on because I watched a podcast with you and Chief kept drilling it into my brain on Wednesday night every night.
I'm merely the host. I just ask questions.
I literally would have won that whole slate that night when the slate got canceled. I played the wrong Martin by accident. The Martin that went off for Charlotte, who had like 50.
Played his brother.
Yeah, played his brother, and he went off and had a pretty much a career game. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna take this tournament down tonight. And then all of a sudden, the games get canceled.
Yeah. That of course, Gobert was touching the mics and had some fun with that, but. I don't think we can fault him. I don't think he knew it was, the scope of what was going on. But, people don't like him for other reasons, it seems. He doesn't seem to be very well, or even his teammates don't seem to love him. It's just sort of the vibe I get, him in Utah as well. But, hey, let's move on. Let's talk about tonight's 9 gamers. We're going to do the game-by-game deal. Some awesome, appealing environments. 246.5 total, Sacramento versus the Lakers. That is the last game of the evening. They put up 270. I mean, the last time they played, I think it was like 135, 125 or something absurd. Wait, that's not 270, is it? My UCF math is rough. I believe it was 270. It was a lot of points. LeBron technically is questionable in that game. No surprise we saw Kawhi get ruled out in the back half of back-to-back for the Clippers. They can be super annoying on this slate because they might play some games. They already have some guys questionable. They're 2 big boys. George and Kawhi have been ruled out. Markkanen ruled in on the other side. Anthony Edwards, Minnesota, he's been questionable multiple games. He's legit dealing with something, but kind of playing through it, it seems. Murray was ruled in for Denver in the back-to-back for what it's worth. Kevin Porter Jr., somewhat of a big one, is questionable as well. Şengün season, we saw him break out last game, and he's well positioned to do so again tonight against Charlotte. And Zubac was another guy they gave a questionable tag to. For the 19th game in a row, Gordon Hayward's doubtful, and he's going to be ruled out again. The Hornets are the worst organization in well, maybe not the worst. They're in the Family Feud board, though. They're terrible. Kirkwood, what do you have as far as the grand scheme? What are we seeing? Big picture on this slate before we kind of do the old game-by-game deal.
Big picture is we've got Naz Reid, who just looks like an auto lock, although you can play the foul trouble angle potentially if you want to go that route. But we have like a few like incredible games from a DFS environment, right? We've got, I think the Pacers OKC game is really juicy. I think the Sacramento Lakers, obviously the late night hammer, it just looks ridiculous. Both of those teams 2 and 5 in pace, 20 and 24 in defensive rating, bad defensively, fast. That game should smash. Then we've got the Hornets Rockets game. So those are like my 3 games where I'm trying to key in on everyone. And then we've got like the value in the Clippers. So we've got like a bunch of stuff. We've got, this is a really fun slate, I think.
You say value in the Clippers. I don't know what that's going to be. Like, I feel like that game's going to mess stuff up, but I think we were pretty high on Covington, but like, who knows? We'll see who else might get ruled out going forward. It's the second half of a back-to-back in Utah, and historically, it's really, really tough place to play there in Utah, their elevation.
But it's also who you're playing. Utah's they're just kind of a awful team. I mean, have you watched much of the Jazz? I mean, they're like
I've watched a good bit of the Jazz.
And Laurie's been playing good and they're getting back, but they have like the biggest mishmash of like useless guards, right? They got like Beasley, Talen Horton-Tucker, Clarkson, who has no defensive game whatsoever, but a good, an offensive game. The problem is that guy just guns to know. And then they have Colin Sexton. Like they have just a bunch of guys who can't defend. Like these guards,
they're castaways. They're guys that were just kind of thrown away.
Exactly, it's a mishmash. They all formed the.
There's talent there. There's talent.
A super team.
And Kessler's looking like a legit player. I don't know where he was drafted. I think he was a first rounder, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't think he was a lottery pick. He's been rising as the season's progressed.
Great for Yahoo and Fanduel.
Well, I think his Fanduel. You're talking about stocks, right? But his Fanduel.
Yeah, I mean, he really racks up those blocks.
Okay, how many blocks does he need to get to pay off that 7-9 salary tonight?
I don't know. I just got unlocked, so I haven't deposited back yet or anything. So
he's 5'4" on DK, 7'9" on Fanduel.
$17 on Yahoo. So
that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. $7 above the floor. What are you seeing, Andre? What do you want to add as far as the slate? I agree with Kirkwood, by the way. I think there's just some really, really awesome game environments. And there's a couple that are just sort of, I don't want to say you can throw them out, but are clearly less appealing. What's popping up for you, Andre?
That Laker game, I just like that game. I think it's going to be a mistake if you don't play at least one or two guys from that game. So I'm going to be focusing on that game. That's obviously the late night hammer. And then, just attacking the value. Some of the value is good value, but there's also some bad value on this slate where I don't think you need to go to. And I think people will try to get to that in abundance here on this slate. So, yeah, just trying to navigate through it and see how I can turn out tonight.
Can you tell me? I'm curious. Is there somebody that's standing out? Like, is there one person that you think is bad value right now?
Well, I'm kind of like the ownership right now. We understand Naz Reid is at like 4.8 the foul trouble.
Yeah.
That kind of concerns me a little bit, but I think you kind of have to play him. But I would be under the field on him personally, which I will be tonight. So I am playing on DK. So yeah, I would be under the field on him. And Plumlee kind of scares me a little bit. But I understand the matchup when it comes to Houston.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Plumlee is 20% owned on DK, which is currently our fifth highest. He's been playing better. The matchup's good, but I just think center's loaded. So
yeah, and I can't trust that guy at all.
Naz is $10 on Yahoo. Apparently, come on. There's no way. What percent owned is he, Kirkwood, on Yahoo? Like he's like 95%.
Should be.
What you think I have the crystal ball into ownership already for tonight?
Yahoo! First of all, the contests you play in, like the ones at all the sharks,
he's going to be 100%. He's going to be in like the large field stuff. He's going to be like 75% plus.
Yeah. But that's pretty wild. And Covington, I'm seeing at 30% owned, which to me is outrageous, at least at this moment. If more pieces are ruled out, we're only giving them 24 minutes, but what if Zubac doesn't play? It's a 9:00 game, and the Clippers might just be throwing this game out and saying whatever, which is so weird because there was like two different quotes in the Clippers last night. I think it was Paul George was the coach. I can't remember who said it, but yeah, we got to start. We're behind the 8 ball with all the injuries. We really got to start picking it up, ramping it up, and let's go. And the next breath, Paul George is going to rest tomorrow night. so is Kawhi. And well, they didn't say that, but you already knew that. It's like, oh, okay, mixed message. So you're not putting your foot in the gas? I don't know if you guys. I just thought that was really weird. It's like, why are you saying that? And also, I'm sitting. Okay, very first game. Somebody's notifications getting lit up.
That's me.
Is that we texting here, or we got some body parts ruled out?
Oh, I have it for the body parts and stuff like that. It's on Twitter right now. Everyone's available to play so far. It's coming out.
Okay, all right.
Except for, obviously, we know Tim Hardaway's out, but everyone on Dallas so far is good to go.
I didn't know Luka was in question. Okay, I see Luka available to play. Like, okay, I thought he was, but I guess I missed that.
Well, he was technically probable because he took a couple games off, or he took the last game off. He's had 3 days rest. He was coming back though.
That is our first game, but again, 7:30 start. 7:30 start time tonight. There are 2 7:30 games and a 9-game slate. Atlanta, Dallas, 233.5 is the total. Dallas is a 3-point favorite. Luka is just freaking outrageous. Atlanta fully healthy for what it's worth. THJ is still out. DFS expected back. I assume he gets somewhat of a minutes limit to some degree. What are we giving him? He would get upwards of mid-30s. We're giving him 28, so we're not giving him a full minute allotment. Green available too. Kleber's still out. Andre, this is like one of the first conversation pieces in the slate. Like we certainly have the ability to pay up for Luka Doncic. We're projecting him for 68 fantasy points on DraftKings, which is that's a median number, which is just outrageous. Only 38 minutes. Like he can play 40, 41 sometimes. Maybe he plays a minute less with like DFS back. We'll see. As far as decision points, where are you at as far as Luka? 12.4K. 25% owned as of, fluid stuff. This stuff will change, but is he one of your premier spends tonight? Or is it more of like a 9, 10K guys? How do you feel about Luka and the rest of the Mavs?
I'm going to use more than 9, 10K guys. I understand this game could be competitive, but I also think this game could be a blowout too. 12-4 is an expensive price to pay, especially on DK. So what I would do, for him to even hit his value, he has to have 68 fantasy points, I believe is what you said. So that's kind of like I think you can get that from other players here on the slate tonight. It's a 9-game slate. You have to remember that. So we have other guys in other games in great spots. So I'm going to be definitely well under the field on him for sure. That's I understand the spot that he's in and what he has to do against Atlanta, but I'll take my chances, and if it burns me, it burns me. But I just can't roll with him tonight as much as everyone else is going to, honestly. And that might be a mistake on me. But I do love taking some shots on if you do play him, I definitely think you should run it back with a guy like Trae Young or DeJounte Murray on the other side. And I don't mind springing a little bit of a DeAndre Hunter or Bogdanovich as well. But other than that, I'm not really going to get to anyone else on Dallas or anyone else on Atlanta besides those guys.
Yeah, Kirk, jump in here. What are your thoughts in this game? Basically, the only one getting ownership is Luka, 25%. Murray at 6, Young at 6, the big slate. They're fine, sure, and you can run them back if you want to play Luka. I don't feel I have to run it back if I'm playing Luka, but I get the concept. Get some correlation, sure. Yeah, Kirkwood, how are you handling this? I guess also decision point, if you want to make the decision, would you build around Luka first or Jokic first? Of course, you can take Secador number 3 and say neither. But if you had to pick one of those as a starting point, who would it be?
Man, you are loving Jokic tonight, huh?
Well, Naz Reid, are you serious? Come on. Are you out of your mind?
This is also a back-to-back where he absolutely where he played a massive game. I would go. But you also have Luka on national TV.
Yes.
Who's coming off of 3 days rest now, and also who's been playing massive minutes. And they've had, when the games have been close, they've had no point just basically leaving him out there for the second half. They do get a little healthier tonight. They're with Dorian Finney-Smith and Josh Green back. But who's minute? Christian, with some of these guys back, that might affect Christian Wood's minutes. And that just means more shots for Luka. So I think Luke, and plus you get the little Trae, the Trae narrative, the little draft narrative back and forth with each other.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
I think Luke is going to smash. Personally, the ownership is kind of tough, and he's expensive for sure. So that's a reason right there to fade. But personally, I think he's going to smash. So it's a tough choice.
Well, my argument for I would pick Luka as well. I was curious your thoughts. I would pick Luka as well. If the first part of it is just because I like the pool of centers distinctly more than the pool of guards. So just as far as opportunity cost, however you want to deal with that. Nas, I mean, I want to play him at the power forward spot on DK, of course, but center Şengün and Sabonis, if you want to spend up, I love both those guys.
Sabonis.
Oh, Sabonis looks amazing tonight in that game with the monster total there against the Lakers. Do you like anybody else in this game? So DFS coming back is not going to – you don't think Luka loses a minute or two?
I mean, he might. That's and Josh Green too. So I mean, the minutes are going to come from somewhere. It all depends how the game is going. Personally, I think, but I think after 3 days rest, after we've seen him, play 53 and 43 minutes in those against the Lakers and the Clippers, just ridiculous. I think the ceiling is there, so we'll see with game flow how it ends up working out. But I mean, nobody has a ceiling. Nobody has the ceiling that Luka has on this slate.
Jokic kind of has that ceiling, though.
Close. Back to back, second game on a back to back though. Give me Luka for sure with it, just the minutes.
All right. I was a little surprised that I thought Murray might sit today. And I thought that was one of the reasons why I liked Jokic a little bit more earlier today. Still like him plenty, obviously. And I think LeBron kind of not the same ceiling, but close to. Assuming he goes, that game against Sacramento should just be a back and forth frenzy. Do you have anybody else in this game, Kirkwood, or it's basically Luka or bust?
It's also early, so that's another reason against, if we don't get like some of this Clipper news and, if I'm looking through the game, like a low owned shot, maybe DeJounte Murray, but like I don't like it. So yeah. No, not really. So I mean, that would be like reaching. That would be more like of a FanDuel Yahoo play.
All right. So not a ton to like outside of the stars. Obviously, Luka, clear, strong play in this game. The other 7:30 game, it's Washington. Washington and New York. 224 is the total. New York, 5-point favorite. Both teams are fully healthy. There's nobody injured. We're getting Beal back tonight. I think Washington, I don't want to say unplayable, but I have really no interest in anybody in Washington. I'm not somebody who makes 150 lineups. If I do, sure, I guess I would get a sprinkle of Porzingis, I guess. But, all these prices are baked up in the absence of Beal because everybody getting extra usage. Now Beal is back, but Beal is not going to take a full Beal bite, I don't think. And everybody else falls back. Andre, do you like anybody on Washington in this game? Because I don't think I'm playing anybody.
No, I don't like no one at all on Washington. I would just target the Knicks side of the game, honestly, and I'm just attacking pretty much with just 3 players from the Knicks, and that's it.
That's Randall, Brunson, and Mitrob?
Oh, Randall, Brunson, and Barrett.
Yeah. Barrett down to 6'6". Mitrob is, a center, so that hurts.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
Steve's gonna make me go into his account where he's throwing up Knicks pictures, Spike Lee pictures. He's gonna make me start posting some things under his account.
Do you not care for New York? I know you're a Boston guy.
No, I told you I had that Red Sox story where they beat us in Yankee Stadium, that Pedro game, and I ended up in the players' wives section somehow, like outside, and with my friend, and then Spike Lee came skipping by, and this was the Red Sox team, and he was going, "They're crying in Boston," skipping and yelling, and like in their wives' faces, and I was like, I ever since that day, I
you stopped watching his movies.
Yeah, I'm in protest. Although, what's that movie I like? The Do the Right Thing.
Yeah,
Do the Right Thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's I think his first. Is that his first movie or first? The first thing they got him put on the map, I think. But yeah, he's been doing his thing for a while. 25th Hour is a good sneaky Spike Lee movie. That there you go. Inside Man. There's another one for you. Sure. All right. Plenty. He's got a whole deal. Anything else that we should talk? Oh, let's talk about New York. How do you prefer Kirkwood? Yeah. Brunson, he's been crushing. He's been smashing. He's going to play close to 40 minutes. Randall, ditto. But, there's no priorities here, I don't think. Ownership says – actually, ownership's giving Barrett almost 17% because he's priced down a bit. Mitrob at just 1%. If that's true, that's interesting. You get yourself a cheap double-double. You can put up 5 stocks. You can grab, 14 boards theoretically. But yeah, what do you have as far as New York here, Kirkwood? Any priorities for you?
I wouldn't say priority, but interest. And the interest, I mean, first of all, I have interest against Randall because I have interest on Randall because of the matchup is really strong for him, and he's just been playing on a different level. The problem is I don't like now that RJ Barrett's back in the thing and in the mix. And RJ Barrett at 6,600 interests me because, that for Tibbs is just can't help himself, right? He just can't help himself. He says to the media, "Oh, we're going to ease him back." And what does he do? He plays him 41 minutes. That's easing him.
That's easing him.
Easing him back. And then he gets 49 minutes in the last game against Toronto. Like
that had to go overtime, I'm guessing.
Of course it did. I have no idea how many of them it did, but of course it did. But just insane. This guy just can't help himself. So if you got to take the minutes upside with that price. His usage has been good. In each of the games, it looks like he's just come back and hasn't really missed a beat. Obviously there's variance with him all the time. Like some days he's got it, some days he doesn't. But at 6,600, I think you got to take a chance. My second favorite is Mitchell Robinson, 5,500. I don't think anyone's going to go there. Gafford stinks. If they love running this Gafford Porzingis to start, which I just think is awful. Like it just doesn't work well. And regardless, Mitch Rob should be able to be in a good spot here if he could just do some sort of offense in this game. But he has that minutes upside too. He's got the blocks, all that. So and he's cheap, and he's going to be very low owned tonight. So that's all I'm thinking. And on the other side, I mean the Porzingis revenge is. I mean, you don't want to play him on DraftKings much because of the Beal being back. Eats into everyone. I'm not playing Kuzma. I have no interest in Kuzma. But Porzingis on like Yahoo, he's cheap at 35. I have a little interest. He hasn't had like that big back at New York game. He's played there several times, but he hasn't like erupted. And I feel like that's got to happen at some point.
But your boy Herbert Good, Kirkwood, in the chat with a bad take saying Spike Lee is washed. He's not washed. He's still putting out solid movies. That's your guy, right, Herbert? Or isn't your buddy? I think he is. Or no, you don't want to claim him.
I claimed who made me look real bad. I claimed, what was that guy? What was the
in the old Dean competition? Yeah.
What's the guy? What Eric?
I don't.
Lip. I claimed Lip, and that was the
that was
mistake.
The worst ever.
I tried to take him under my wing a little bit, and it was the worst decision I ever made. So I'll hang back, but Herbert Good seems like a good guy, good dude.
All right. Anything else here? Moving on. I think we're moving on, right? I believe so.
I like Porzingis over on his points, though, for sure. His thing is at 19.5 right now.
That's in the parlay? Is that in the parlay?
That is in the parlay. Also, if we get 100 likes, I'll tweet out the $1 million parlay.
There it is.
100 likes for $1 million? How can you
fit it in the 140 the 240 character? Is it? I don't know if it's.
I just screenshot it. I screenshot it already, so I just gotta put it out there.
That makes sense. All right. There you go. We're going to be splitting the million. We're all going to actually don't have to split it. We'll all get it.
We'll all get it. We might end up bankrupting the site. I'm not going to say, but hey, it is what it is. We're all richer at the end of the day.
2 7:30 games are down. The 1 8 o'clock game. Wait, there's not one. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. Yeah, bad math. I don't know why I was reading that wrong. So the first one we're going to talk about is Cleveland and Memphis. 227 is the total in this game. Big deal in this game, obviously, is that Mitchell is not available, not playing basketball tonight for Cleveland. Otherwise, they're fully healthy. Memphis is fully healthy. A lot of fully healthy teams tonight, and that's why ownership's going to push away. Also, the two best defensive teams of basketball here playing Cleveland and Memphis. Big bump in pace for Cleveland facing Memphis. Cleveland, one of the slowest teams of basketball. Memphis, I believe, is I want to say 5th last time I checked. So the absence of Mitchell, Kirkwood, should get you on guys like Garland and LeVert. I'm a little bit hesitant on Garland for what it's worth. It's fine. I think he's a good tournament play. But if he's going to be like almost 15-20%, I think there's better routes. And LeVert, I feel a little better about just because he's cheaper, I suppose. Less chance of him like busting, I guess, is my thought process. How much do you care about the Cavs? We have no Mitchell. Theoretically, there should be like some guys flat out popping, and there's some good stuff, but I don't think there's anything amazing. You tell me otherwise.
Sorry, you said me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think Darius Garland is a great play. I mean, we just saw it. So we saw him play. We saw Donovan Mitchell go down against New Orleans, which is pretty a tough matchup. Not nearly as tough as a matchup as it is against Memphis, but this guy's he's gonna gun, right? Like, he played 40 minutes in that game, and he had almost 30% usage. So the only caveat here is we have Ricky Rubio a little bit coming back eating in, but I don't think that really matters much. I mean, Garland is going to be the guy gunning because, I mean, Donovan Mitchell has been ridiculous from a usage standpoint this season, has really come up. So I think Garland is pretty safe. I think you get good minutes upside. You're going to get massive usage, and he's a scorer. He's going to keep him in this game. Like you said, this game is a tough game overall. The Cavs are the dead last in pace, and like you said, you thought it was fifth. It is fourth. I'll correct you. The Grizzlies are fourth in pace.
That was off the dome. Like, that was pretty close.
Yeah. But both 1 and 2 in defensive rating, like you said. So this is a defensive game. I do have interest in Evan Mobley. So the problem with Mobley, it's been really tough with him, with Garland and Donovan Mitchell playing on the court. They don't really look for his offense. He's just held them down defensively for the most part. I think this is a spot where they're going to need his offense more. Also, it's a sneaky good block spot. The Grizzlies are 26th in opponent blocks per game. So his price is kind of nice because he hasn't really erupted in a long time. So he's just got a kind of a mid-tier price everywhere. So I think there's some upside there for him. But that's about it. That
price is pretty good on DK. It's 6-1. Andre, jump in here. Feel free to jump over to Memphis as well. Cleveland, Memphis. One thing that's really interesting, and I understand why it's happening, big slate and everybody's healthy and the pace down against Cleveland, but Ja is 4% or lower as far as the ownership. I get it. I mean, certainly if you're running 150, I think you should be in your pool. I think there's a slight chance this game blows out. We've seen Memphis blow out a lot of teams this year, and Cleveland playing without Mitchell. I don't know. I could see their offense kind of struggling. But, obviously you don't play in fear of a blowout when you're making lineups. You're doing it accordingly. If you're rostering a guy like Morant, you're assuming he gets his full allotment of minutes. What do you have here, Andre, as far as Cleveland and Memphis?
I don't know how to feel about Garland. I'm torn between it. The usage, like you said, is going to be up for him. But I do love this spot to get to for a guy like Kevin Love a lot. I think that he has a chance to come off the bench at 4.1K on DK and have a monster game here in this spot. So to me, I'm going to be just like Kirk is going to have some Evan Mobley. I'm going to have a lot of Kevin Love. I don't mind taking shots on Evan Mobley either as well. And the only person I'm running back on Memphis is John Morant. But I do also would sprinkle in some of these other guys like LeVert, Allen, as well as Garland too. But my main focus would be Kevin Love, followed by Evan Mobley in this game. And also take Kevin Love. He's plus money right now on FanDuel for 10 points or more. Plus, I think 135. I would take that right now.
I like the number plus 135. You're getting some positive juice there. We actually have, by the way, if you guys are premium members or you're not aware, if you go to, we have premium projections. Like we have our projections, obviously, for DFS. But we have another page you can get to where it breaks down exactly how many points are being projected, how many rebounds are being projected, assists, yada, yada, yada. All the positions, all the stats. If you want to bet such things, it's helpful. And there's even an overlay if you do on scores and odds. If you go on scores and odds and you have premium there, you can see what lines happen to be the best places to shop for it. And you can actually see what our projections are next to it. It's a good time saver. So it's oh, wait, this guy's over under in points is 17.5. We're projecting 22. It's probably a good over bet. What do you have, Kirkwood, as far as the Grizz?
This I don't have much of interest anywhere. I just because of pricing, I just think there's too many spots tonight, and so they're going overlooked. They're playing a top defensive team that plays extremely slow. They're deep. So I mean, obviously Ja can always go off, but this isn't the nut matchup for him by any means. So I'm on the other side. Maybe Triple J. Because he can just anybody who has that can just kind of rack up blocks like that. And you see what he's done. Like you see some of his 50-point games, and he does all this under 30 minutes, which is crazy. So and his minutes are, he does have a little bit more minute upside potentially in closer games. Also, if he's not so handsy, so that I guess that would be it. And the other fear I wasn't even thinking through, Garland. So do you think Dillon Brooks is going to guard Garland? I respect Dillon Brooks is a dog on defense. So I respect his defense.
I thought defensively overall they're just kind of tough, and I even think of Bates as a pretty solid defender. I don't know what he is as far as the metrics, but in my head I think of him as a good defender. That's why I didn't love Garland. Like I know Garland's like projects well and obviously gets more usage without Mitchell, and I think this game has a chance to blow out as well. I know it's only an 8-point line, and maybe I'm being a little paranoid, but I think the field's bigger on Garland than I am, and I'm not, trying to talk anybody out of it. Andre, do you know who do you expect to guard Garland tonight?
I would expect it probably be Brooks as the primary defender on him. That just makes the most sense from a Grizzlies standpoint. They're gonna need Ja Morant to be doing the heavy lifting, scoring along with Bane. That's what I would expect for it to happen, and probably even try to trap him a little bit when they get on some pick and rolls.
Kirkwood, I know you like to make up nicknames, but there's actually some real nicknames. Do you know what Triple J's nickname is?
It's Block Panther. Block Panther.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty strong. You don't hear that often enough. It's pretty good. I like that.
Official nickname. It's his official nickname.
Yeah, you always make up nicknames and say that's the.
What do you talk? When me? I give real nicknames.
Can't cite dates. I'll pull up the court reporter. I don't know.
Chill with the slander. All right.
Shout out to Chris in the chat who caressed the like button. That works too. Whatever turns the like button on, smash the like button, hit it, tap it. Don't hit it too hard. Don't smash. Whatever. Do it. It's your choice. Whatever adds that works for you. Hit that like button. And Andre, how many? We got to get 100 likes. You're going to give the people. Essentially, you're giving the people $1 million. That's the way I understood what you were saying.
Essentially, because I really have a strong belief that it's going to hit tonight. I've been really close lately, so unless something bad happens, but I don't think nothing bad will happen. I think this is going to hit. So hit that like button. We got 235 people watching. Let's hit that like button, please.
The chat's helping me out, by the way, Kirkwood. Gary Bird for Houston.
That's official. That's his nickname.
I don't know if it's officially his nickname. That's
100%. Patty the Tooth. I mean,
Patty the Tooth is not.
Wikipedia proved that.
No, it proved the brain. Remember?
No.
I don't know who changed that in Wikipedia, but that was amazing. A Cuban Missile I don't think was real either for the dude.
Cuban Missile is real. These are all real.
Yeah, but a different person was named the Cuban Missile, not the person.
No.
I think you get your nicknames messed up. I'm pretty sure. All right. Best nickname in basketball? What is it? What do we got? What do you have, Andre? Who's got the best nickname right now?
I don't know. Get back to me on that one. That's a really
best nickname in basketball was The Truth.
Of all time.
Yeah. You want to? Okay, Paul Pierce talking about.
Paul Pierce was a good one. I like that. I really found it funny that they really called Michael Jordan Black Jesus. That was hilarious.
Jordan was called Black Jesus?
Yeah.
I don't remember this. Is that okay? Is that Kirkwood make that up? I don't remember this.
So serious. In the 90s, he used to call him Black Jesus because he was just that good. They couldn't beat him.
I couldn't go there. That would be too. I couldn't make that up. I couldn't own that. You know what I mean?
David Robinson, the Admiral, he was in the Navy. That's really good.
Not only is there's race and there's religion in that. So I could never. Those are two areas I could never.
He said there's two things.
Slim Reaper, by the way. I don't know if Slim Reaper.
I like Slim Reaper. That's a good one.
He doesn't like it, though. Didn't Durant hate it? Did he come out and say he didn't like it? I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty strong.
Yeah. He was an Easy Money Sniper, too, I think. Is it, too, another one of his?
He's Easy Money Sniper?
Yeah, something like that. That's what he calls himself, I think, too. That's another one.
The answer is really good. Allen Iverson, just the answer. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, he was my favorite player, so. Little known fact.
Big ticket. AK-47. That's Andre Karolinko, who was number 47, and he shot from 3 frequently.
PG-13.
Glenn Big Baby Davis.
Big baby.
It's pretty good too. The Worm, just like that's a Rodman, pretty solid. Good job, chat. You guys are doing pretty good.
I mean, better than the Dream.
Oh yeah, the Dream was a good one too.
Hakeem the Dream.
Yeah, Dream Shake. I don't believe Delonte West was LeBron's stepdad. I don't think that's an accurate. I don't think that's accurate. That's something Kirkwood might have made.
That's
up.
another area we can't go due to recent events. We can't mess with Delonte West either.
I hope he's doing well. I didn't like Cuban step in and like.
I loved that video he had where he was getting he's rapping in I think he was getting Kentucky Fried Chicken. I think there's a good video out there.
Is he doing better, Delonte? Is that what you're saying?
This was all. I don't think he's doing better.
Yeah, I think he relapsed. If I'm correct, I want to say he did and he didn't, but I really think he did.
Chocolate Thunder was the dude who dunked in Dell Dawkins. Is that who was it? Isn't that Chocolate Thunder?
No, White Chocolate was
that's Jason
Sacramento.
Williams.
Jason Williams was White Chocolate. Daryl Dawkins was Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah,
a lot of good ones.
Who was hot? Oh, Hot Sauce was like on the.
That was from the And One mixtape. Yeah.
Okay, like who was Hot Sauce? Oh yeah, the guy who played Escalade. That's a good one for you.
Yeah,
the center. I think he was related to someone in the NBA. Wasn't Escalade like somebody's cousin or uncle?
Skip to my Lou.
Rafer Alston, right?
Yep.
Yeah, played for the Heat.
Pistol Pete. Look at this.
These are all real nicknames. Take note. Grandmama Larry Johnson. All right. We've derailed the show enough, but don't worry. We'll knock out the rest. The chat's having a good time. Agent Zero was Gilbert Arenas, right?
Yeah, that was a great one too.
Yeah. Okay. We shall move on. Charlotte and Houston, 236.5 is the total. That is a beautiful total. These two teams, by the way, they're currently 1-2 in the Tankathon as far as record. You want to get in the bottom 3. Escalade was Mark Jackson's younger brother. Okay, I knew he was related to somebody. Didn't know that. Okay.
What was that Tracy McGrady's?
What was his nickname?
Yeah.
T-Mac. Yeah. You know he was like a minor league pitcher after playing baseball briefly? After playing basketball. Yeah.
No.
That long he tried, but he tried to become a pitcher, which I thought was interesting. All right. Charlotte and Houston, 236.5. Two teams that want to lose a lot. Did we just – what happened there, Kirkwood? Did you get a bad notification?
No, that's Dre. Picked up Dre's the one with the notifications on.
Yeah, I have my phone downstairs, but
I'm just waiting for his barking dog to come out soon.
Oh, she's sleeping right now. So
all right.
Okay, so Charlotte and Houston. I think it's kind of a big deal if KPJ does not play. Kevin Porter Jr. currently is questionable with his foot. Again, Charlotte with their games and Gordon Hayward, he's doubtful and he's not going to play. Cody Martin is doubtful with his knee. Oubre, of course, has been out for a while. Still going to be out with his hand. Man, we saw Şengün breaking out last game. Just been breaking out as the season's progressed. He will be better if KPJ is out. He is a center, and the price has been bumped up, but minutes are creeping up too. If he can get close to 30 minutes against Charlotte, he should just fully pummel this team. Love Şengün. I don't know if he's an optimal play. He's not an optimal play, right? But I love him for tournaments. I'll throw it to you first, Andre. Whichever side you want to, jump on, by all means, go for it. But, two of the worst defenses in basketball, two teams that want to lose. They're going to lose. Well, somebody's got to win tonight, I suppose. But, yeah, what jumps out to you as far as this game? Awesome environment, obviously.
Yeah, I'm really trying to figure out the Charlotte side a lot more. Houston, I'm pretty much got it boiled down to I like Kevin Porter Jr. if he plays, Jabari Smith, Eric Gordon, and Alfred Şengün. Those are the main guys I like tonight. I'm more on Eric Gordon. I think he's going to play regardless, obviously, but I like him a lot more. And will be well over the field if Kevin Porter Jr. is out. So I think that's very, very important news because this team does give up a lot of threes, and Eric Gordon can have another big game off of that. So I really need that news ASAP, honestly. So hopefully we get it while the Crunch Time crew is on here. And then when it comes to Charlotte, I definitely like LaMelo and Terry Rozier. I do not like a lot of Mason Plumlee at his price of 6'3". It's kind of expensive. I understand he's been playing well lately. It might come to bite me. I'm thinking about fully fading him. But I know it's not a good option. So I probably might just play a little bit of Mason Plumlee, but PJ Washington is someone I think he's a good tournament play, but not someone I'm going to look to get to a lot of. And I think Jalen McDaniels is someone else I'm going to be looking at here in this spot. So just gotta it's just probably going to be at the field, maybe a little bit over on him, but not really going to be that much over on him. We're just going to, like I said, take the main guys, LaMelo and Terry Rozier here. And then on the Houston side, I'm just sticking with Kevin Porter if he plays, and Alfred Sengun and Eric Gordon regardless.
All right. Jump in here, Kirkwood. There's so much good
Eric
stuff
Gordon
here.
in Space Jam. No, never.
That's from a show like 10 days ago or whatever. So there is a kid actor named Eric Gordon that's in Space Jam, but it's different. It's not. Yeah. We had it was a long conversation. You had to be there for it. Defensively, Kirkwood, we like picking on Houston. They're the third worst in defensive efficiency. The Hornets are the fourth worst. Obviously it speaks to the total. 21% ownership on Mason Plumlee. To me, it's a little bit high. Doesn't sound like Andre is on him as well. Obviously, LaMelo Ball, certainly a spectacular spend here, well positioned. I don't mind the McDaniels call either. It's just kind of like a lineup filler type player. And if Sengun's going to be 5% owned, I will be over that. That would adjust, I think, if KPJ is out. Yeah, you were talking about your three favorite game environments. This was one of them. Zoom in. Who do we love here, Kirkwood?
I mean, let's talk about that game environment. So we've got Hornets play fast, right? We've got a 2-point spread. We've got a 237-point total. We've got both teams are horrendous at defending the 3-point line. Rockets are dead last in opponent-made threes per game. The Hornets are 26th in opponent-made threes. We've got the Rockets are also 29th in opponent blocks per game. The Hornets are 30th, dead last. And the Rockets are dead last in opponent steals per game. So this is like as juicy as games get, right? And then we're potentially going to get we'll have to see what Kevin Porter Jr., because if he's out, then this game gets a lot more appealing because then you get more runbacks, right? But like I like the Charlotte side anyway. From price is fine. I think LaMelo is like an outstanding play. I mean, he has the chance to rack up tons of defense, like tons of steals, fast in transition. He'll shoot from anywhere. So he's great. I think Terry Rozier is a great play. I do like McDaniels. I'm fine with Mason Plumlee. So I like everybody. I'm sorry. I just like this game. Sengun would be the one guy, like after his massive game, I feel like people will click him more, especially with Kevin Porter Jr. out. I know his ownership projection is low, and that's because he's not, they can't, he did what he just did is just so outside of his range of outcomes typically. I mean, he had a 70-point fantasy point game the other day against the Lakers, but what does that do? It just makes think Sabonis is going to put up 100 tonight. But
minutes outlier in that game, 37 minutes in that game. Like he's averaging 27, 28 on the season. Did that game go overtime or no? I'm trying to remember if that game went overtime or not. Because I know he played more minutes. I didn't realize that was an overtime game. But do you think what do you think his minutes are tonight for Sengun? Are they going to fall back?
I mean, they should.
Is he getting 30-31?
I think 30 minutes is fine. I think he's a fine play. Could be a little bit better play with Kevin Porter Jr. out, but he's not someone I feel like I have to play. Although the Hornets is a great matchup for opposing centers, so I think he's fine. But give me LaMelo, give me Terry Rozier. I'll even play them both together. I'm fine with that. I know typically you wouldn't, but I think you can do it. You can pull it off in this game, and then I'm hoping that Jalen Green. And Eric Gordon has been balling actually, which is crazy. And he's been shooting and they just need, they needed the offense. So, I mean, if he's going to take 16 shots like he did a couple games ago, I think, let me pull him up here.
Looks like he was just ruled out according to our chat with KPJ.
Eric Gordon is out.
No,
KPJ. Okay. So yeah. So these guys, this game gets juicier, even juicier. So I love this spot.
Okay. Andre Porter Jr. officially ruled out. We do have an if then, by the way. We had a what if. We're now projecting close to 40 DK points per Şengün, 40 for FanDuel as well. Gordon would get 26 DK points. I never like playing Eric Gordon. I know he's had its moments, but I never seen it be on the right side of him. Jalen Green, close to 40 DK points. The Şengün price seems a little bit outrageous, but maybe that's a little bit of sticker shock, but I think he certainly can pay it off here against Charlotte as well. Anything new here, Andre, as far as Porter being ruled out? Do you want to solidify a take for Houston?
He's grabbing his AirPods really quick. He's back.
I think KJ Martin will probably start again. So, it's tough. It's always a tough ride with him.
Yeah,
but you got to like the minutes upside.
Okay,
yeah. I'm not sure if you heard, but my apologies, I wasn't watching the screen. But Porter Jr. officially ruled out. Just happened, and I'm just curious if you wanted to, bring a point home, something an if then we're talking about before, but hypothetically now we know for sure there's no Kevin Porter Jr. Reiterate your favorite plays on the Houston side.
Jalen Green, is he playing too? Right? Yeah, I like him now. I wasn't on him before Kevin Porter Jr. was going to be in, but now that he is officially ruled out, Jalen Green becomes a part of the plays I like. Also, like I said, Eric Gordon I still like. Şengün as well. They're going to be the main three. And Jabari Smith. Pretty much just all those four guys. I'm going to mainly try to get into my lineups here and go from there. I feel like you should have a little bit of this game for sure, like at least one piece or at least one run back, whether it's a 1v1 or like a 2-1, like a mini stack definitely I think should be a part of your lineup tonight. It should be a main part.
Chat's asking Eric Gordon or KJ Martin. For what it's worth, our if-then projections essentially the same. KJ Martin's like 26. Gordon's 26, basically. That's DK. And Kirkwood, you're answering the question in chat. You prefer KJ, it appears. And I think I agree as well.
This just feels like this is like a game that like the young guys just go off on, and so like I just gravitate, forget the guy who's as old as Head Chopper. Give me the young guy.
Isn't this is it Gordon? Did he used to play for Charlotte? I feel like he did in my head. Am I making that up?
Not that I remember.
Say that again, Andre. Is that a no?
When they were New Orleans?
Yeah, when they were New Orleans too, you played for them.
Okay, yeah. So I guess I'm kind of half right. Herb Jones, by the way, officially ruled out. He has a back. We'll talk about that game shortly. I guess we'll be talking about it now, right? No. First, let's talk about the Miami Heat. No, that is the Herb Jones game. Our Miami Heat, Andre, who kind of suck. 220.5 is the total. It's a 4-point line here. Miami, most guys are in. Basically, everybody's in for Miami, right? We got Lowry, good to go. Caleb Martin. I'm not sure if he's the right Martin, but Caleb Martin is in. Even Udonis Haslem's available if they're in a pinch. The only guy that's been out for a while, still going to be out, is Duncan Robinson. New Orleans, they're missing their two, their 1 and 1A of Zion and Ingram. Prices have adjusted at this point mostly. McCollum all the way up to 9K. Andre, I don't really love anybody. Heat, like certainly, Bam can get loose for an optimal game. Butler, I just don't see myself getting there. I only make so many lineups. You want to sell me on somebody on the Heat tonight in New Orleans?
Only Bam Adebayo is the only guy I would play, and I think he easily gets to 20 and 10 here. But I'm not focused on anybody else. I think he's definitely should have an easy matchup because no one's going to be able to guard him. Like, there's no Zion who's as versatile as he is. No Herb Jones who actually just has some length on him. But, like, these other guys that are there, Trey Murphy is not going to be able to stop him. So, yeah, and I think Larry Nance should be available to play too, if I'm correct. But he says as quick as him, but I think Bam should be able to have his way here in this spot, especially against Jonas Valanciunas, who will be the main defender on him majority of the time. So, yeah, that I would play Bam, and that's it. I did like Tyler Hero earlier in the day. I still don't mind him at 7-3 because we know the upside there is still high with him. And it was promising. He got 30 minutes his last game. His friend, and then that was his first game back from injury. So I don't mind taking some shots at him if you're running like 150. But other than that, it would be just Bam for me.
The only person really getting ownership in this game is Najee Marshall, 5-6 on DK, 20% ownership. Alvarado is getting about 19% as well. Did not mean to neglect him. Coming off the bench, but decent chance at closing. He's as far as fantasy points per minute, Alvarado, I believe, is close to a fantasy point per minute, I want to say. 0.93 on DK, 0.9 Fanduel as well. Kirko, what do you think of this game? It's not a lot to love. Not a lot of premium plays or priority as far as I can tell.
Correct. I think it's a fine spot for Bam. It's a good block spot for him. I think it's a good spot for Pelicans who shoot three. The Heat really don't defend the line. The 27th in opponent made threes. Najee Marshall's going to be popular. A guy like Trey Murphy, you could easily pivot to for a little bit less, and he'll be chucking threes, so he could get hot in this game. He's had 3 respectable games in the last few. He definitely gets more minutes with Herb out. So any of these guys are fine, but this game overall is not one I'm looking to target.
Kirkwood, Marshall at 20%, Alvarado currently at 20%. Is that good chalk or bad chalk?
I thought Marshall would be higher for sure. You said Murphy. You said how much?
Alvarado. No, it's Alvarado.
Okay, Alvarado
and Marshall. Yeah. Marshall.
I don't know. I think it's fine. I don't see a massive ceiling with Alvarado. I think he's going to be fine. Najee could do a little bit more. But like I said, I think the pivot is to just go to Trey Murphy.
Mm-hmm. And I agree.
I think Alvarado closes over instead of like Daniels. We've seen that. Yeah, also worth noting, by the way, Valanciunas has been playing. He's been closing more of late. So the matchup is not spectacular here against Bam, but I think he's got a pretty good chance to get like 28, 29 minutes. Just maybe it's the thing to note going forward, for a different game. But Valanciunas has been playing more, and Nance has been playing less. Just put that in your hat. What do you think? Who you guys think that?
I just can't give up a center spot to J Val in this spot tonight.
That's where I'm at too. Yeah, but we've seen him have some like smash games, and everybody's afraid to play him because of Nance closing. And
if he has a smash game tonight, I'll eat a hat.
No, you won't. Really?
Yeah.
Could I pick that hat?
No, I get to pick the hat.
I want like one of those Abe Lincoln like top hats. Like it's
gonna be a little chocolate hat. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Well, your chocolate hat that doesn't do anything now. Okay, we're moving on. This is it, Andre. We can get. I think so.
Yeah, we can get going to the next game.
Indiana, OKC, the last of the 8:00 games, 238. Another really, really appealing total. Halliburton still out for Indiana. OKC, I think nothing new, right? As far as injuries, I don't believe. Yeah, pretty standard on the OKC side. The TJ McConnell game was outrageous. It was only on the Fanduel slate, I believe. He put up 25 points in the first half. He was 4 for 4 from 3 in the second quarter. This is a dude that has 0.5 made threes per 36. I don't know if I'm chasing that. I think that's kind of wonky. And the coach talked about only wanting to play 1 point guard. So the McConnell thing, and he's outrageous, the price on FanDuel. Playable on DK. He's 5'5", but he's like 7'8" or something. Yeah, 7'6" on FanDuel. I love SGA as a spend up in this game. And if he's going to be 10% owned, I think that's a pretty good number. And you have some nice runbacks in Indiana as well. Turner looks like he's going to smash as well. So centers, so many good centers in the slate, Andre. This game's really appealing for me. I like the Indiana pieces a little bit more than OKC, but favorite play, I think it's probably SGA. You tell me. What do you like?
My favorite play, I'm not saying you're wrong with that to be your favorite play, but my favorite play is going to be Josh Giddey. I think that he has a chance to smash here, to just put up a crazy triple-double, like 15, 15, and 15. I can see that happening for him tonight. He's just, I think, in a prime spot here against his defense, who sucks at rebounding the ball, which Shai has not done as a lot this year lately. in general as far as rebounding the ball really well. He's been focusing more on scoring, and Josh Giddey's been more handling as far as like I would say the more real point guard duties and getting like the assists and the rebounds. So, and then like I said, adding the scoring a little bit in there. So to me, I think Giddey is the top play for me from this game personally. I don't mind sprinkling a little bit of SGA for sure, but I don't mind also playing some Jalen Williams or Dort. But Dort might end up getting crossed out because it is a big slate for me. But on the other side, I do like Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, Nembhard or Mathurin, and TJ McConnell as well. Those are the guys I'll be focusing on Indiana. I would make this another game where it would be like a game stack for me, but a high priority today and in general in my lineups is going to be Josh Giddey.
When as game stacks go, is this game stack more appealing or less appealing than the Houston one?
Less appealing. Although it's a good game. This is number 3 on my list.
Yeah,
of those 3, and like they're super close between the Houston, Charlotte, and the Lakers Kings game. So I like both of those significantly better, but this is my number 3. I'm with you with Shea, right? Like we've just seen 2 massive games from Giddey, and Shea is the alpha when he turns it on. So like this is a good spot at lower ownership when all the ownership is going towards Giddey. Now will Giddey do well? He probably will. It's a good matchup for him. The one guy I would fade tonight for sure is Buddy. Because I think Dort will be on him. Would be my guess. I love Miles Turner. 7,100. I also love him on FanDuel. I also love him on Yahoo. This is you attack bigs against OKC. They just don't have any good ones. They're 27th in opponent blocks. They're 22nd in opponent steals. When Turner erupts, it's when he's blocking shots. And this is a great block matchup. Look at his last 4 games. He's got 5, 4, and 4 blocks out of 3 of those 4. We saw him in a tough matchup just go for 53 fantasy points against Milwaukee. This is a much better matchup. So he's my guy tonight.
Yeah, I like him a good bit too. Domantas Sabonis questionable now with an illness, which is a bummer because that's a really late game too.
Wait, what happened?
Sabonis is questionable, not feeling well.
Man.
Tummy ache or something. I don't know.
He had the fish.
He had something. He was in LA, and something I agree with him.
So this could this be a COVID thing? Because like there's multiple guys, or they're all just caught the flu.
Oh yeah, they gave Matthew Dellavedova.
Alex Lynn illness.
Oh really? Okay, maybe like a room service.
Wait, on the Lakers. So were they all partying? Or no?
I don't know. Lennon, Sabonis, and Dellavedova, they're all teammates, right? Yeah, they're all on the same. Yeah. You forget what team Alex Len's on because he never plays.
That's a good point. It's like, why even list him?
I mean, well, I appreciate the listing. Let us know, I suppose. But okay, it's not going to affect projections, obviously.
My parlay is definitely hitting tonight because I did not even put Sabonis in my $1 million parlay. So that's a sign. That's a sign.
I was looking to find a nickname for it. How does SGA not have a nickname? He's so good. No nickname for Shea?
Shy Giddy, Shy Jizzy. I don't even know what to call him.
Is that something you've heard, or that's just something making something up? I'm
just making something up.
Yeah, I feel like why does he not have a nickname? There's some players that like are really bad that have nicknames. Yeah, okay. And I was looking one for Giddey as well. And I guess Giddey doesn't really. Chet Mate, I think, is combining him with his other teammates is the best that the internet has apparently, but that's not spectacular. Especially if he's better than Chet at this point. As far as we know, we don't know what Chet is.
Who's better than Chet?
Giddey. Right?
Oh, they play different positions, so but I don't know.
Okay, so I don't watch college basketball. I've only seen like his like mixtape or whatever. I have no is Holmgren going to be good? I don't supposedly, but I have no clue.
I think he's going to be a perfect fit in the NBA, and if they get Wembanyama, it's over. That's a dynasty.
The length is going to be outrageous if that happens. Like, I don't know. how you play against them. That's like the Monstars, right?
Yep.
All right. What else should we say here as far as this game? Let's talk about the other pieces on Indiana. Kirkwood, I know some were mentioned in passing. The prices are still pretty good. I know Turner looks like probably the best play consensus wise on the Indiana side amongst us, but Mathurin is still really Nemhard is still really cheap, both in the teens as far as ownership projection. You have a preference amongst those two, and give me a TJ McConnell take. What's his nickname? Does he have
my preference is Nemhard in this game. I like Mathurin. I think he's a better scorer, though his usage has been down playing with all the starters, and so he's had higher usage rate. And then with the backups, and then sometimes they would let him close. I think Nemhard is going to have a high minutes ceiling in this one because they like his defense. So he would be the guy that I would side with. I would take him over TJ McConnell coming after that huge game. Now the crazy thing is they said they weren't going to overlap them.
Yes,
and they did nothing but overlap them.
Well, McConnell forced them to though. He played so good. Yeah. I think that's what happens.
Do they change it again back to like with the same plan? If McConnell is just normal McConnell, then he doesn't see much as much.
I think I have some apprehension, and I think it's possible he plays like 20 to 25 minutes or something like that. But I think he's also, if he's playing well, I think he can play up to 28 or so. By the way, the best we got, I'm seeing Floor General is McConnell's nickname, at least according to the Google. That's the first thing that's popped up. I've never heard that before, though. I'm not sure. It's not great, but all right.
Matter of fact, that they used to call me that back in the JCC leagues early days, back in the day.
You were the Floor General?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. What did you play back in the day? What was your position?
Shooting. I was terrible. I was okay. Shooting
Who's
guard.
your NBA comp? Like, who's the guy that you look to and say that's the guy that I model my game after?
There was no one.
Like Chris Dudley or something?
I was good in the JCC league. I was terrible in high school. I got no run in high school. My coach hated me. In practice, I got a steal, and I pulled up from three, and I hit the three, and he stopped practice. He threw a ball at me and told me to get the fuck out of here. Pardon me. That's what he said.
You were ahead of your time, though. Like, but with the whole just taking threes as opposed to the layup. That's something they did back in the day.
It didn't fly back. Didn't fly back in my day.
You were an innovator.
And then there was one game where he benched all the starters, and he announced me starting, and I started to laugh, and then he was like, "You think this is funny?" And it was a nightmare. It was a mess.
It sounds like this coach will be a mess as far as DFS.
Coach Reed, and he used to have this little white spit bubble whenever he would talk, get on there. It was so gross.
At least you made your basketball team, Kirk. I did not make.
I didn't. This was sophomore year. I didn't start playing till late. So ninth grade, I didn't make it. I was the last one cut, but I made it the following year. And that's why I said JCC, because the people who played ball that didn't make it, we all played in the JCC league, and we traveled around. It was pretty funny.
You didn't make the team, Andre? You got cut like Jordan?
Yeah, no, my team was my basketball team in high school. They were really, really, really good. We had a lot of D1 players. So it was
a little better than the D League.
No, yeah, essentially, we made it all. We made it the cup. We couldn't even we made it always. We were always like the champions in our section. So, but I was focused on also football because that was my better sport anyway.
Clippers, Utah, 228.5 is the total. Back-to-back for the Clippers. They're traveling. Their 4 players are resting. No Paul George, no Kawhi. Luke Kennard is still out. It looks like they're bringing up some of their G League guys. So like Diabate and Boston and Preston and Brown will be available. So they're going to have some live bodies. We don't know about Zubac. Zubac's got a knee and they gave him a questionable tag. I think he's interesting if he goes, but it's annoying, obviously, not knowing. Our projections like Covington. They like Powell as well. I just think I don't know what to do with this Clipper team, Andre. It's I don't know. I'm having a hard time figuring them out, and I don't want to be too heavily invested. And I think whatever we're at right now, something's going to change because that's just what they do. Well, what is your thoughts as far as the Clippers? Because mine are pretty, I don't know, I don't have good ones.
Well, you and me both. Like, it's like I got Reggie Jackson, Zubac, Powell, Covington, Marcus Morris, and Trey Mann. I'm trying to figure out how many Clippers is too many Clippers. And I think you have to probably play like a guy like Norman Powell. I like him a lot tonight. Marcus Morris would be probably the second guy I think to go with here. Zubac would be number one if we knew he was playing or not. But, we're not going to get that news till late. So he's questionable. So he had a Q tag next to him. But from a price standpoint, I think everyone's going to try to go maybe to a guy like Reggie Jackson, which I think because he's so cheap, 3.5, and he's going to be playing 25, maybe 30 minutes. So
when was the last time that happened? I feel like he's been relegated to the bench and basically not playing.
You don't think he's going to? Yeah, but without both their stars, he's going to have to play, don't you think?
Oh no, I do. I don't know how many minutes they're going to give him. He's 3.5. The price is all the way down, which makes him really interesting, and that's kind of part of it. I don't want to tie myself to Reggie Jackson, but I think he should be fine if he plays 25 minutes. But
he should be in this. He definitely should be, and it's just. It's not comfortable at all. So what I would do, I probably would just only play one Clipper, maybe two the most. But it really is a coin toss. And I think honestly that could determine the slate because if a lot of people do play Reggie Jackson at 3.5 and he goes off, your lineups could be done for. So that price point is just too low. I think he has to be definitely in the conversation for sure. But I would focus on the guys, like I said, Norman Powell will be my main priority here, followed by Marcus Morris, guys that I know are going to be like number one or number two option on this team to try to score and get points here.
That's the tricky thing, by the way, because we have right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players, right? 8 projected for 24 minutes at least. Only 7 getting 30. Only one player getting more than 31 minutes. And then we have the G League guys getting nominal minutes as well. It's just a big mess of guys playing mid-20s to 30 minutes, and that's probably what it's going to be. How do you feel here, Kirkwood? It feels so fragile as far as the Clippers minutes. And
okay, so everyone's going to think off the top of their head that this is going to be a blowout, right? Like they're assuming that. I don't assume that whatsoever. I think the Clippers are going to play them tough, and I'm going to lean on Terrence Mann. I think he's got the highest minutes ceiling out of all of these people out there. They're comfortable playing him 40 minutes. This is also a good. I remember I said those mishmash of bad guards on the on the Jazz. So these are a bunch of sloppy gunners. Like when you're talking about Colin Sexton, when you're talking about Jordan Clarkson, you're talking about Beasley. So I think Mann will be attached to Clarkson's hip, and I think this is a good spot for him. So I'm really good with Terrence Mann. I think Norman Powell is going to have to be the alpha scorer, and so he's the guy I like next. And then we got to wait on this Zubac news because that would open up guys like I think we would have to like Covington and Marcus Morris a lot better. Batum, I'm scared of.
Just X him out.
Yeah, but he whenever I've had this Batum thing, it's like he'll go off for something.
I know.
When did that happen?
It happened you never forget it. That's the problem. It probably happened one time in the last year, but you never.
It really happened to me. I don't ever play Batum, but I think it's the same thing with me, Kirk. So I don't know. Batum definitely, I just say X him out every time because I can't fathom playing the guy, and if he beats me, I'm just going to salute and close my laptop.
I played him when he was on the Hornets 7 years ago. That was fun, I guess. But yeah, it's been a while. All right. By the way, Markkanen in, if you guys are not aware, as far as Utah, Olynyk is still out for Utah, but nobody getting a ton of ownership on the Utah side. Kessler's still pretty cheap on DK. His Fanduel price is outrageous. I think it's close to 8K, if not mistaken. 9% ownership is the highest we got. Otherwise, we're getting 5, 4, 3 as far as ownership. And is that basically what we're looking at here, Andre? Is it Kessler or bust on the Utah side, or you like somebody else? You not like Kessler?
I like Kessler, but I also will take some shots at Malik Beasley and Mike Conley here, even with marketing playing here today. Beasley, I know, has not formed his have not had good games against the Clippers here, but I still think he can go off here and have a good spot, especially against without all the main stars here for the Clippers. So Beasley's a deep tournament play for me, but mainly going to try to get a little bit of Mike Conley and Walker Kessler.
I like how you're like, no, Batum, but like Connolly? Okay. I get it.
Conley has never disappointed me when
way
I'm
better
playing.
than Batum.
Yeah.
No, but he's more expensive, and he's still like 36 years old, or he is. Maybe he's
At least he'll give me.
He's 5,300. He's got some game.
He'll give me
fine.
a couple threes and at least 6
He may
assists.
get a couple steals too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take under 2 steals.
Yeah, you're probably right, but
You might get one.
he's in his last 10 games. He's got 2 games with 3 steals.
Well, is that a big enough sample size for you, or that's it, and that's decided?
I don't know, but that's good content right there. If you want to throw a prop,
No,
pick
it's
out
not.
there.
Take the under.
Nobody. I don't know. Nobody touts unders, which I find crazy. Have you ever seen anyone tout unders?
I can't
Grant.
because every
Grant
time I try to
counts
top
unders.
an under, I can't do it. I've tried, and every time I do, when it's a good spot for an under, they somehow have a miraculous great game against it in a bad spot. So I'm done with unders.
I think you should do all unders for your $1 million parlays.
Kirkwood, anything else? We have 2 games to knock out before we let the crunch time crew come in. They're coming in about 10, 15 minutes. You got Andy Means, you got Keith Eyster Eyes, and Kevin Roth. They'll take you guys at the lock. Reminder, if you're not aware, lock tonight, if you haven't figured it out, 7:30. It's not 7 o'clock, despite the fact it's 9 games. It's sort of weird. But we want to knock out the last 2 as well. Is there anything you want to add, anything you want to stress here, Kirkwood, or can we move on?
No, I'm interested in Lauri Markkanen, though. Like their defense is just significantly worse now, right? And he's had he's been injured. I think it was a kind of a soft injury, and he was probably more of just resting. And he's been balling, so he could absolutely go off in this spot, and no one's going to play him tonight. I don't think no one.
Yeah, he'll be like 5% or less. But there's a lot of like Morant, same sort of deal. Like he's just not going to get heavily owned for reasons. Okay, let's talk about.
Lauri's price is what, 9.4, right?
Yeah, it's just
It's tough, but
he justifies it on occasion. He does. Minnesota, Denver, 239 is the total. Denver is a 10-point favorite here. We got Rudy Gobert way too scared to play against. He's got a groin too, to play against Jokic. Murray is expected to play. Bones Highland expected to play. Both of those playing in the back half of the back-to-back. And as far as Minnesota, outside of Gobert, same dudes that were questionable last game, Prince, Edwards, are questionable. They did play, and I imagine they're going to play again, but stay tuned. We do know Gobert is out, therefore Naz Reid is, I hate using the term free square, but, he kind of sort of is a free square, barring some absolute goofiness. Jokic is incredible, but he costs money. And we live normal with salary cap, and there's a lot of good centers. If you're working your way up the ladder, you can stop on. So that's why he's not going to be incredibly owned. I think he's about 15% right now. Kirkwood, feel free to knock out both sides of this game, whatever you want to say as far as Minnesota. And I mean, you're playing Naz Reid, like that's that. Like I don't know what kind of analysis you want to give.
Yep, you're playing Naz Reid. If you want to fade him just for ownership issues, you can. Maybe he just has a average game against Jokic. Maybe he gets in foul trouble. It's certainly possible. I'm kind of hesitant on these guys on the back-to-back, but from the Denver side. But like this is a great 3-point spot for them. So who's going to be lighting it up from downtown on Denver?
Who's their best 3-point shooter? I don't know if they have a great who is their best 3-point shooter?
Well, my MPJ's been hitting threes lately. He's been shooting threes. He got 6 in his last game. So, and I've been watching him, and I think he looks pretty good lately. So he's someone I could kind of get behind in this game. Jamal Murray, sure, right?
Yeah, he's fine. He's also back half of a back-to-back and dealing with injuries, and if this game is blown out, he's probably the first guy off. Is Malone coaching tonight, or is he still out? He did not coach yesterday.
He was in the
COVID
protocol,
precautions
right?
or something. Yeah, protocol.
Yeah, so I'm worried. Bones would be like the guy I would think of, but I'm also a little worried about him. After he was barely going to play yesterday, and now it's the back-to-back, so I'm a little scared. He only played 16 minutes. He's has the ankle sprain, so I'm a little worried about him. I guess, yeah, I'm just not in love with a bunch of these guys. I think I would stop there, but maybe Bruce Brown get some run in this game. I don't know. I'm reaching.
Yeah, you're not playing Bruce Brown.
Nah.
By the way, KCP, their best 3-point shooter, 47% this season. I'm not counting DeAndre Jordan. Apparently is 100% this year. I guess he's 1 for 1. I don't know when that happened, but good for him. He's probably never going to take on one again. And then as far as KCP is the top guy. What do you have, Andre, as far as Denver and Jesus? Why am I losing your team? The Minnesota.
So as I mentioned before, Naz Reid, I do like him, but the foul factor scares me with going against a guy like Jokic. So I'm going to be a little bit under on Naz tonight. I do love taking shots at Anthony Edwards here in this spot. Kyle Anderson is okay. I don't mind playing him a little bit too today. On the other side for Denver, Jokic, if this game is close, I'd love him a lot. I think you're going to definitely need to run back with a guy like Anthony Edwards because that's the way the game will stay close. I do like taking some shots on Jamal. I like Jamal Murray too a good amount. Michael Porter Jr. Is someone I probably might have the second highest or maybe the highest ownership out of everyone on Denver tonight. And I don't mind taking some GPP shots if you run 150 on a guy like Aaron Gordon and KCP today.
All right, last game of the night, we were thrown a wrench was thrown in this game. Sabonis not feeling particularly well. He is questionable. Matthew Dellavedova questionable as well. Doesn't matter. Alex Len ruled out. Doesn't matter. LeBron is questionable. That matters. He's got an ankle. Austin Reeves, Lonnie Walker, Anthony Davis still out as well. Other pieces on Sacramento fully healthy. 245 total. That is a big boy total, high and tight. Sacramento just a 1-point favorite. These teams put up a combined 270 points last time out, I believe. It was an absurd number. Love Sabonis if he's a go, but I also don't want to get, if he's not a go, this is stuff we're doing here on the fly here, Kirkwood, but do you have a plan? I don't know how much you like Sabonis tonight. If he's in, if he's out, and he pivots lined up, what are we doing here on the Kings? Because his status matters a ton, obviously.
Man, I loved Sabonis tonight. So what do we like? So who are we got to talk through if he's out, right?
And then there's LeBron. What if LeBron is you got to put plans for both, I suppose. I wanted to run them against each other, but we'll see.
I mean, obviously Fox is anybody who's a scorer can score on the Lakers. So Fox would be that guy that next, and Sabonis was, we just saw Şengün put up 70 fantasy points against them. So obviously we were going to like Sabonis. So who's next in line? Is it Medu? Is it Trey Lyles? Do they let Rashawn Holmes play again, who they've just basically completely phased out this season?
He's been bad. It's not Alex Len.
Correct. Yeah, we know that. So, this is significant. Keegan Murray is going to play a ton of minutes, probably. So I feel good about him. I would have to think it's probably Metu who gets the big benefit. But
it could be a mismatch and none of them matter. That's also possible too.
Yeah.
Lyles, I think, seems like the one most likely to close as the 5 in my head, but I don't know. That's my best guess. What are your thoughts here, Andre, as far as, again, this is an awesome game, but it's really hard to talk about without knowing the two key pieces of being questionable in LeBron and Sabonis.
Yeah, I definitely this news matters really, really, really a lot because I was going to have a major overexposure to Sabonis. I was going to have probably at least 45% Sabonis, but now I'm going to have to walk it back a little bit and probably be at 20%, just so I can have some time to change my lineups. But I don't mind taking some shots here. If he's out with a guy getting low to field on a guy like Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox. I think Kevin Huerter is also short for a big game here today as well. I also, if Sabonis is out, we already got Alex Len ruled out. So who's their centers that they have left is Rashawn Holmes, who I think will get some will get some playing time here, and I think it's Metu as well, if I'm correct.
Yeah, and they could go Trey Lyles too.
Yeah, they go Trey as well. I think.
Yeah,
they go Trey as well. I think Trey will be actually very interesting for this game too. But Sabonis was just a smash play, so I would just, like I said, try to get more exposure to those guys, and I would not play more than one of those three guys, of course, Metu, Lyles, or Holmes in a lineup for sure today. And then on the Lakers side, I love LeBron today, and then I'm going to run it, and I also love Dennis Schroeder today as well. Those are the only two guys I'm running it from the Lakers. I think Dennis Schroeder's not going to get that much ownership, and I think he can have a big game here against the Sacramento Kings.
Interesting thing as far as ownership, and the Crunch Time crew should be coming in momentarily to take you guys home all the way up to lock in 32-ish minutes. Nobody getting more than 10% as of right now. LeBron at 9, and again, maybe it has something to do with the diciness of the LeBron being available, Sabonis being available. Sabonis at 5%. Man, I would love to get well over that if I knew he was good to go. And you have no idea what to do with a sickness. I mean, maybe he tries his best to give it a go, and he pulls a Jarrett Allen, and he just can't do it. And we've seen multiple players, when they're sick, just try and gut it out, and it just doesn't happen. Anthony Davis, another one, happens a lot. And what does that mean? He's sick. There's no context to it, but you got to be able to roll the dice even then. But yeah, awesome play, awesome ceiling as far as Sabonis and LeBron, and I like Fox as well. If you want to bet on Sabonis being out, possibly. Is that a parrot, a bird, or is it a dog? What noise was that? That's a dog.
That's my lizard.
You gotta go.
Yikes!
What's your lizard's name?
Oh God!
We use symbols. We just it's like a prince. It doesn't.
Your lizard signed a bad contract and was oppressed, and okay, fair enough. Well, shout out to your lizard. What's up, Roth? How you feeling? The chat says it looks like you have a sinus infection. Do you have a sinus infection?
How do they know that? Yes, I'm a little freaked out. Yes, yeah, I'm sick. I feel terrible.
Shout out to John Edwards in the chat here.
Yeah, John, slide into my DMs if you want to help. Let me know how to get over this. So yeah, I feel like
he's right outside your house. Apparently,
excellent. But we're toughing it out. I'm not like Sabonis or LeBron. There's no questionable status here. I'm going no matter what.
But the thing is, are you going to give your best effort? Because if I roster Roth today, am I going to get normal Roth? Because normal Sabonis would smash. But if you're just going to power through and give 80%, I want to fade Roth. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. You're getting 100%. I brought the Pacificos, even though I'm sick, to give me some energy. So I feel like you're getting full on. Don't worry about the illness. I got this.
Raw flu game.
Exactly.
All right. We should step aside. You guys have a lot to discuss, lots to break down. You got a half an hour to knock it out, answer questions from chat in the Discord. Get in that premium Discord if you guys are premium members. If time allots, Roth will jump over to YouTube. That's only if time allots as far as the questions. Kirkwood, Andre, you guys got anything else before we step aside and get out of here?
Nah, we didn't get to this 100 likes, so you get no $1 million parlay.
Oof. Outrageous. The people don't want $1 million.
You guys could have been a millionaire.
Now, if it hits tonight, y'all going to be really upset.
Could have been a contender. That is Andre, who'll be $1 million. He's won $1 million twice in DFS. Now you're doing it once with parlaying as well.
I love that you speak the second one to existence because I haven't done it yet for the second time.
Oh, there you go. I was rounding up. My bad. My apologies. One's more than most, though, to be fair. That's Andre. That's Kirkwood. I was Dean. Roth, take it over.
Appreciate it as always, guys. Excellent show. Let's get to it. This is indeed the main event. It is that show called Crunch Time. And it is sponsored by Fanduel, joined by two of the sharpest minds in the biz. We got Mr. Andy Means. He's smirking already. He's got some smart-ass comment just cooked up in his head. What's up?
What I was going to say is, besides how nasally you sound,
Yeah.
I love that you're freaking drinking beer. Because, like, whenever I'm sick, I drink too. And I always get shit on by the significant other.
My wife
that's not good for you. Your body's not going to recover. Like, whatever. Like, I'm already feeling like crap. I might as well drink.
Yeah, I feel like shit, so I'm gonna have a few beers, and that'll make me feel better. Like it seems like common sense to me. Means how you feel about the slate? You got the same issue where we're waiting on the most important news of the night, and so everything up until that point is like,
A little bit. There's not a lot of news that I think will break, and then that's a bonus thing like just happened, and then the LeBron's been queuing, and it's the last game of the night. Like there's not going to be. I don't think we need to oversell it in the sense that there's not going to be like, oh my God, I have to play this guy value.
okay.
There's going to be good plays, but there's not going to be, especially with Sacramento, because you don't know who's going to start at center, and Fox will be good, but like none of these guys are going to be as good as Luka. None of these guys are going to look as good as Naz Reid. So like there will be good stuff there, but I don't think we want to I don't want to overrate it necessarily either, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does actually. Excellent. All right, well, we've got Ice as well coming in with some GPP takes. Ice, we got, they send out the tweet with all of our faces about who's on the show. And I had no idea who you were. Like I was looking at your picture. I was zooming in. I was like, who the hell am I on the show with? But it's you, and it's good. It's good to have you, man. How are you?
I'm all right. I was liking the slate a lot better before this Sabonis news because that's exactly how I was playing this game. This slate is attacking that game really hard. So scrambling a little bit, that does kind of change my plans for this evening. So we're going to figure it out as we go. But Sabonis was like my favorite play on the entire slate. Now that's a little bit in question with the midday downgrade to the questionable. So
okay, well,
might have to find some different angles here.
Can you just hold off, wait to see what's happening? And if he's playing, you can still do what you were doing. And if he's out, just pivot somewhere else.
The problem is it's the last game of the night. LeBron is questionable as well. And I was building with LeBron and Sabonis in.
Oh, yeah. That's
probably can't do that now because LeBron is a logical pivot. That would be totally fine. But stacking them together now is even more risky because there's nobody to pivot to if they both get rolled out.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Well, we're going to help the people out. By the way, if you haven't done so, make sure you sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state. Taking advantage of their awesome bonus offer. New customers get $5 on any market and get $150 in bonus bets, unless you're in Ohio, in which case you get $200 in bonus bets. Make sure you're checking that out. Big shout out to our sponsor. They're keeping this show free, so hit that thumbs up button on the YouTube. It's the eyeballs that make this show free, so go ahead and make that happen. Means let's talk about this slate a little bit. Kick it off with some FanDuel cash, if you don't mind.
I have to comment on your ice mention about his picture because I think we have two very clear front runners for most egregious difference of RotoGrinders picture, and I think it's in one corner we have Ice, and then in the other corner we have TJ. I'm like, those guys. That's not who is on the show with me. Those aren't those guys. We need to get some updated pictures. At least mine was like taken like 2 years ago. I still rock like a 10 years ago Facebook picture, but on the RG stuff, I got like 2 or 3 years ago.
Right. So I remember that day. We'll get to content real quick, but they took our photos after you and I had been playing beer pong at the RG party.
Oh yeah, we were running people.
We were running people. I got drunk the night before. I've been playing beer pong all night. They took my photo. I look so haggard. It's literally the worst photo of me I've ever taken. And it's the one that RotoGrinders splashes everywhere. So feel free to run that back next time we're in town. All right, Means, let's talk about this slate real quick.
Yeah. We've already talked about that last game enough. Then the other one I have my eyes on is Minnesota in the sense that they have, let's see, 3, 4, Edwards, Rivers, and Taurean Prince. Those guys are all Q. I would have thought that, this is, these guys have been playing through Q tags for a while now, but then Rudy got ruled out earlier. So maybe someone else gets ruled out on the front end because they're on the front end of the back-to-back. Talk so much about guys on the second end of a back-to-back, but this matters too when you have to think of guys who we know are Q and they play tomorrow. Maybe this is the time they just sit them out, give them, that extra day.
Yep.
So maybe someone else does it. So that's the only other one that I'm really keeping my eyes on, because mostly we have everything in. But and then Zubats, he's Q as well, and that game starts at 9 Eastern. So yeah, a weird slate. Yeah, I'll start on FanDuel. Guard there. I mean, Luka is very far and away the best play on the slate in terms of like raw projection. That's not saying anything. Like he's been playing like 42 minutes in regulation. Like his minutes are absurd. He got the day off, I think it was Sunday, and so he's had 3 days off, and so like 42 again. Why not? We have him for 38, and he's like damn near 70 DraftKings points projection. So
It's so stupid.
Yeah, you play him for sure. I love LaMelo Ball tonight. I love everything about this game in general, the Hornets-Rockets game. I'm not saying you absolutely have to play him, but like when I'm looking through all these other people to spend up on, he's like, man, he's one of my favorites. There's not like a ton of screaming like cheap value. I'm talking like a 3-7 guy or a 4-2 guy. Like we have Nas, and then everything's okay. So like I don't think you absolutely have to play him, but definitely one of my favorites. And then Jalen Green, now that KPJ got ruled out, I think he's in play. I didn't mention Terry Rozier, who has point guard, shooting guard eligibility, also in that Charlotte-Houston game. I'm just going through point guard and shooting guard now, by the way.
That's fine.
And then, who was I just about to say? Oh, yeah, Fox. If Sabonis is ruled out, we do have, for those of you who have premium subscription to RG, we do have the what if up for if Sabonis is out. So give that a look. We just put that up within the past, 15 minutes. So Fox is looking pretty good there if Sabonis is out. So I think in general, that is who I like the most at the guard spots. I didn't mention a couple guys that I'll just talk about at small forward, and that would be LeVert. He has shooting guard eligibility. Obviously, looks a lot more appealing with Donovan Mitchell out. You have Norman Powell. The Clippers are without Paul George, Kawhi, and Luke Kennard and John Wall. So then you have Powell there. You have Batum there. He's 4'4". You have Covington. He's 4'5". And then you have a bunch of other stuff in this 5K range, like Matherin's 5'5", Najee Marshall's 5'8". Priorities here would probably be Powell first, and then it's kind of a toss-up for me between all those 5K guys and Clippers. So that would be all the cheap stuff. If you probably, I mean, LeBron's okay, but you just can't. I just don't think it's anywhere close to worth like him being out, because the pivots are going to be really difficult, like Ice was mentioning, with there being so much salary tied up between him and Sabonis in that late game. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's going to be hard to pivot to anything you like. The one thing I'll mention that I almost like interrupted to say, if you are doing that with like the Sabonis, LeBron, or both of them or one of them in like a bunch of your builds, I think you can also make the decision point, like make the call like right before that Denver game starts. That's at 10 Eastern. Kings, Lakers at 10:30 Eastern. So you have Jokic there. That's on FanDuel. That's going to mean not playing Naz Reid though. So that's another variable in this whole thing. And they play the Nuggets. So try to make that decision. Then you also have like Edwards as a spend up if you need some more options. But then at that point, like 5 minutes before that game starts, and you haven't got LeBron news or Sabonis news, you got to probably pull the plug. So I did want to mention that as a quick aside. Let's go to power forward. You do not get Naz Reid power forward eligibility like you do on DraftKings, which is going to make it a little sticky at center. But power forward is actually one of the least appealing positions on the FanDuel slate. So that's rough not having Naz there. So you're probably looking at one or both of the cheap Clippers with Batum or Covington. If you're spending up, I didn't mention one guy at small forward. I'll talk about him more on DraftKings, but Jalen McDaniels, he's 5'7". I like him in that Charlotte Hornets game. He's really affordable in DraftKings. So that's another guy I could see kind of fit in the mold here. Evan Mobley's in the 6K range. He's 6,900. Man, power forward's rough. Kenyon Martin Jr., 5,300. Jabari Smith, 5,800. Marcus Morris, 5,100. There's not a lot of good stuff here. So I would try to get out cheap if you can. And then center, I literally have nothing else to say because you're playing Naz Reid, and it's really silly if you don't. So I will pass it to you guys.
Very good. I like it. Ice, let's talk some tournaments here. What is your game plan? You can talk about how you're handling that situation or not handling that situation, or just go through some plays for me too.
Yeah, so there are a couple of game environments that I really love tonight. Meansy mentioned the Charlotte-Houston game. That is absolutely one of them. Two of the worst defenses in basketball. Fantastic spot. The Indiana OKC game is really good. I like Giddey and SGA, and I'll run that back with a couple of guys on Indiana as well who have fair prices. Mathurin and Nembhard. Miles Turner has power forward eligibility, so I do like playing him a little bit here on FanDuel. And then my favorite game of the night was Sacramento, LA, but that has changed a little bit. I was basically only targeting those 3 games with a little bit of Luka and some Clippers value sprinkled in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of pivoting that now. I am including Minnesota, Denver for sure now. Naz Reid was always in the build, but now I'm going to add some Jokic, some Anthony Edwards, who still has a really cheap price. He's been fighting through that injury, but he's questionable. But he has been playing on that recently, so I feel pretty good about Edwards playing. I do like him a good amount. And then Sacramento, LA is like, we just saw Şengün destroy the Lakers inside. Sabonis has been just destroying everybody recently. So if Sabonis plays, I absolutely love him. He always seems to go overlooked. Price over 10K, like nobody likes to pay up for him, but he just consistently scores like 55 fantasy points, 60 fantasy points. Like it's incredible what he's been doing. So I really wanted to play him tonight. You just have to build it a little bit different now. I probably won't stack him and LeBron together just so I have some more outs if the news doesn't hold up for me. And I'm adding, like I said, a few more pieces from Minnesota, Denver, just to give myself a little more flexibility as the slate wears on.
Okay, very good. I'm a little offended. No one mentioned 2 of the most consistent greatest players of all time, Alfred Şengün and Jalen Brunson. Just a reminder, you just play those guys, and then they get you 70 points apiece. But,
so I do want to touch on Şengün really quick because I love him tonight. But
yes.
Naz Reid is significantly cheaper, and on FanDuel you can only play one of them. So it's really difficult. Like before the Gobert news, I was playing a ton of Şengün, but it's just tough now with Naz Reid being such an awesome play to get to him, and even Jokic as well. Like I was fine just locking in Naz when I was playing a ton of Sabonis, but now I'm probably gonna have to back off on that so I can get some Jokic in there as well.
Gotcha. All right, Means, let's talk some DK here. What is different about the build, and just kind of walk us through it.
I just got really excited about playing beer pong with you again in like, I don't know, 3 weeks or something. So
yeah, I'm pretty pumped. Let's go.
Yeah, that got me excited. I kind of forgot about that probably because we played so much. I just forgot about playing in general because we were on the table.
Yeah, well, we won like 8 games in a row, and at that point, you start to forget. Yeah.
Like, hey, let's go get your picture, guys. All right, my face is all right. Okay. Let's go DraftKings. Let's do guard together. Luka's point guard only. That's 1. So actually, let's just do shooting guard because that will make it a little easier to peg for people who want to slot something in here. So I think we're going to look in this like 5 to 6K range for the shooting guard slot here. LeVert 5'1", Nembhard 5'2", Mathurin 5'6", Powell 6K, Buddy Hield 6'4". Like playing one of those dudes probably. I don't have a strong lean. A lot of those guys have small forward eligibility too. So not much else I want to touch on there. Let's go back to point guard real quick for like the guard spot purposes. Other stuff you might be looking at here. I love Garland tonight. Wrote about him a little bit on the expert survey. He didn't come off the floor on Monday when Mitchell got hurt. I think on his third quarter rotation, didn't come in for the rest of the game. Garland did not come out, played the whole second half, just balled out in the second half. If you look at the game flow tracker on Court IQ, it's like first quarter, 1.3 fantasy points, second quarter, 8 fantasy points, third quarter, 21, fourth quarter, 22. Like he just went nuclear in that game. And now obviously no Mitchell for the whole game. Tough matchup against a good Grizzlies defense, but like him plenty. If I was picking one for cash games, though, and I could get to him, it would be LaMelo Ball, who I talked about on FanDuel quite extensively. And then other cheap stuff that is just point guard eligible would be like Alvarado. They're without Zion, Ingram, and Herb. TJ McConnell's been playing pretty well with no Hallie. And then I didn't really touch on it when we were talking FanDuel, but if LeBron's out, you have Schroeder as a good cheap play, and Russ, Westbrook will look pretty good as well. So that pretty much covers most of the guards I'm looking at in primary stuff. Let's go to small forward. Like I mentioned at shooting guard, you have a lot of those guys that have the shooting guard eligibility, the Matherins and whatnot. But Jalen McDaniel is one of my favorite ones here at 4.9. Kenyon Martin at 4.6, and then RJ Barrett at 6.6. A name I haven't mentioned yet. I really like him. I like Lou Dort at 4.8. Najee Marshall at 5.6. Small forward is looking relatively deep. A handful of those guys are people I mentioned at shooting guard, but really like Jalen McDaniels out of the bunch. Power forward, got Nas here, which is great. So if you like someone at center a lot, you can put Nas here and go from there. Let's see, some guys I already mentioned: McDaniels, Martin, Najee. Those guys all I already talked about. Robert Covington at 3.6. He is power forward center. You have Evan Mobley at 6'1". He's power forward center. That probably takes care of any primary stuff. And then let's see if anybody else here at center. Love Jokic tonight. I mean, last night was just – he keeps like outdoing himself on box scores, which is – it's like every week he does either outdoes himself on a box score or on a pass that he does that you just like can't quite believe. And then he did it last night by 36, 12, and 10 on 90% shooting or whatever it was. Just absolutely ridiculous. No Gobert tonight, which obviously should help a little bit for the old Joker. So if you have the money, if we're talking like who do you spend up on between him and like LaMelo, I would probably just play LaMelo. But I mean, I can't say a bad word about Joker. Mason Plumlee at 6'3", I can't believe he's this expensive. He's like 7.2 on FanDuel. But if you look at the game log, man, he's been worth it. So he's deserving of the price tag. I think he's fine for cash games. I can't believe I'm saying it, but they've been playing him normal minutes, been getting in the 30s, and the game environment we love. So I don't think you go wrong picking him. Walker Kessler, he had like 22 and 20 on Monday. I mean, Markkanen's back, but still no Olynyk. So plenty of good options there at center. Nas is obviously my favorite, so I think that's a good chunk of what I would talk about.
Sounds good. Okay, Ice, you go ahead and talk tournaments. I'm going to mute this so you can't hear my kids screaming. Okay.
All right, so I did just want to touch on the Clipper value a little bit. I'm fine going pretty deep on this Clippers team tonight. There's a ton of usage to go around. I think guys like Terrence Mann or Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris are all excellent tournament plays as guys who could be the leading scorer. Like Powell's picking up a ton of ownership, but I like going deep on this team. And then the Zubac questionable is very interesting as well because Moses Brown is near minimum price. He's 3,100. He would be a pretty fantastic play if Zubac ends up getting ruled out. So just differentiating a little bit with the Clippers chalk, I think is important as well. Going through a couple of positions here, TJ McConnell, I think is really interesting. Saw him go off the other night. He's been seeing more minutes here recently. Didn't mention him when I mentioned the other Indiana guys. I do like him. Trae Young on the other side of Luka, I think is also really interesting. De'Aaron Fox is fantastic as well. Definitely want some of him, especially if Sabonis gets rolled out, then he just becomes an even better play. Some shooting guards here. Anthony Edwards is fantastic. Love him tonight. Let's see here. I think Trey Murphy is an interesting pivot away from Najee Marshall, who is pretty popular tonight. And then some of the other Kings like Kevin Huerter is interesting in case Sabonis gets ruled out. So I do want to build with a little bit of the Kings guys who are not quite popping as much right now, but could end up phenomenal plays if Sabonis does end up getting ruled out. Some forwards here. Let's see. Eric Gordon is super interesting. With Kevin Porter out, he's been playing really well. He's at like 14% ownership here. Love his price at 4,500. Think he could certainly smash that. Mentioned Marcus Morris, one of my favorites as well. And then the center position is more interesting on DraftKings here, where we have pivots. We have the utility spot, so we can play some people in addition to Naz Reid. Şengün, we already mentioned, absolutely love him. Meansy was talking about Plumlee, like that game. I love both of the centers in that game. I think Walker Kessler is a phenomenal play tonight, who's not showing a ton of ownership. And Miles Turner as well is a really good play, who's not showing a bunch of ownership. So I definitely want to get more exposure to these guys over here on DraftKings, where I can play two of them.
Okay. I saw the other day what the trade was for Gobert. I'm sure you all saw it on Twitter as well, which included like 3 first-round picks, Walker Kessler, who might just be as good as Gobert, like a ton of other players. Just like, how does that happen? How does that happen?
Not going so well for them so far, is it?
No, it's not going great.
Not
like
looking good.
You gave up all those resources for a guy who doesn't fit in the modern NBA. Like, we all knew that and saw that, and doesn't fit with the team. Just what a nightmare. All right, let's take some QQs. We've got about 8 minutes for some questions here.
Can I get one thing in?
Yeah, please do.
I'm glad Ice kind of expounded upon it, because it is important. I don't really have a feel if Zubats is going to play or not. If he doesn't and Moses Brown starts, he's going to be like probably the best cheap play especially on the DK slate, where he's really cheap. So keep that in mind as you're building. If you're not loving anything in these first games, that game starts at 9 Eastern. So maybe you get that news at like 8:30 Eastern. Like, he would be a really good cheap play. Then you're talking like, okay, I play Nas at power forward. I play Moses at center. Now I'm playing Luka. Maybe I get to Jokic also. Maybe get to LaMelo. Like, just keep that in mind. Yeah. Oh yeah, Ross like it.
Yeah, I like this.
You want to get confirmation that he's starting though too. So
okay, that's fair. All right, let's get into the RG Discord. That is where all the cool kids hang out and drop their questions. So let's scroll up just a wee bit here. DK Cash question: Giddy Dort or Nembhard Najee Marshall means?
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think you play the Thunder one.
Okay, all right. Gamble, FanDuel Cash question: Nembhard Garland or D'Lo and Jalen Green?
That was FanDuel?
It was, yeah.
Of those two, I think I kind of like the second one better, honestly.
Okay. DKGPP Ice, this is kind of an elaborate question, but I'm just reading it here. He's trying to plan for the Sabonis news here, trying to plan for Sabonis. I need a 440 late guard small forward player to pair with him if he's in. Do you like KCP, Monk, Troy Brown, somebody else in that spot?
I think of those, I would go KCP. Certainly don't mind the matchup against Minnesota. They play really fast. Should be an up-tempo game for them, so don't mind that. Like, what's the criteria? He can play him at small forward or a
guard or small forward. Yeah, he's a guard.
So shooting guard, small forward.
Just said guard or small forward.
Okay. And 4,400 it was.
Yep, it was.
Let's see if I like anyone better down there. Man, don't have the 100 for Eric Gordon, huh? That's tough. Malik Monk could end up being a fantastic play if Sabonis is ruled out.
Okay, very good. NBA DF. Well, this was if Sabonis is in though. So
okay. Yeah, I think KCP is the option I would go with then.
Okay. All right. FanDuel Cash means Marshall, Garland, or Edwards, and K Martin.
I'll do the first one.
Very good. Yappy says DK single entry GPP. I need a guard for 5,800 or less. Looking at TJ, man, Herter. Unless you like somebody better. You got Sabonis in the util.
Let's see, guard 5,800.
Making nice work for it tonight.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
I like McConnell at 5,500, a good amount. I think Herter is in play, even if Sabonis is in at 5,400. Those would be the two.
Very good. FanDuel Cash question means this is a pending Sabonis question, but Nembhard, Jabari Smith, or Avocado Alvarado and Harrison Barnes?
Let's do the first one.
Very good. FanDuel GBP Ice, is it viable to roll with a 10K and below build, or is it too much risk not having, a Luka or a Jokic?
I think it's okay. There's a lot of upside there. Randall certainly has a bunch of ceiling. Morant's right at 10K. Love LaMelo's ceiling tonight. Mentioned Trae Young. I think there's plenty of upside in that 9K range.
I approve. All right. Gamble FanDuel Cash means Batum Covington, assuming Batum starts and Covington does not. So Batum v Covington if Batum gets the start.
Yeah, I would just lean on the guy who's starting there. I mean, Covington's probably the better per minute guy, and one of those age-old questions are like headaches of guy who's going to play more but grinds it out, and then guy who's not going to play as much as better per minute. I usually lean on the minutes there, so I'd probably just go Batum, but I'm not even close to having conviction on anything Clippers related tonight.
Okay, that's fair. DK GBP Ice, KJ Martin or Gordon? Last piece, he's already got Naz Reid.
Like them both. Give me Gordon.
All right. Arlo, favorite DK cash play at the util means you got some money to spend between 7,500 hundo and 8K.
Oh, 7,500 hundo and 8K. On DK. That's a good question. So you can't get Garland, probably Giddey. He's been good, man. And he does a little bit of everything. Like, people don't like playing Giddey. Sure, he doesn't score a bunch, but all right, you can get close to a triple double every night, and he's always 7K. So I like Giddey.
Yeah, very good. All right, Achilles DK Cash means 3v3 for you. Ball, DSJ, and Dort, or Healed, Plumdog, and Kessler.
Slightly in the second one.
Okay. Mike says, how have we not mentioned Malik Monk? Revenge narrative means we got a revenge narrative. Ice.
That's why I haven't mentioned it.
I mean, the revenge narrative doesn't have anything to do with it, but Sabonis being out would certainly make him very interesting.
Okay. Here's a good question. I'm pulling this from the YouTube real quick. Who's your favorite 3K player? Do we have a dirt cheapie? Because I plugged in some scrubs. I played Reggie Bullock, and I hate it. It's not going to go well. He's not.
We can't even get 3. We can't even get 3-1 like with Moses Brown. We can't. It's straight 3K.
Well, that's a good note. 3-1 is your favorite with Moses Brown.
But you got some stuff that has to happen there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing on 3K.
Yeah. Ice, you got anything?
I'm just looking at projections. I don't see anything.
Yeah, there's really nothing.
All right, that's fair. All right. Let's see.
I guess Metu, if Sabonis is out and he starts, that's another one to name. But I mean, again, you got stuff to happen there.
Yeah. All right. Cam says, please let the guys know Moses Brown is in the G League.
He has been upgraded to questionable. He's close. I guarantee they're just waiting. If Zubats is out, then they'll bring him up. And if Zubats plays, then he's not going to get called up.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Good note. Thank you. All right. We got less than a minute until lock here. DK Cash 2v2. Ball, Rocco, or Şengün and Man for the Clippers.
Give me the first one. Let's go with Ball and Rocco.
Okay. AJ says, DK Cash, is Reggie Jackson okay as the last piece and hope for Moses Brown or a cheap Kings play, and I can make that swap?
That's a good call. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. You might not get it, but he's fine if you don't get it.
Okay. DK Cash, Miles Turner and Eric Gordon, or Plumdog and Kessler?
I did the second one, man. Those dudes have been playing well, those centers.
Okay. Tofield, DK Cash, and single entry. So, Ice, you can have this one. Jaren Jackson or Miles Turner?
Miles Turner.
Very good. Just getting caught up here. Yeah. All right. Well, we hit the lock. Normally we would hang around. Devin, do we have some sort of show? Or I don't know. I don't even know who's producing.
Steve.
Steve, do we have some sort of show after this? Do we got a golf show or anything going on?
Ross, do we have? Please tell me there's something because I don't feel good and I want to leave.
Yeah.
Nah, take 2 more minutes and we're good. We don't have something until 9 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, okay. Well, we're just gonna hang out with you guys all the way until 9 p.m.
Oh, wait a minute. I think Roth doesn't want to deal with yelling and screaming kids.
There you go. If we could
There
make this
we
go for
go.
another hour, yeah. If we could stretch this for an hour, that
That
would
was
be lovely.
way off.
Just a couple quick questions. One, DKGPP, Şengün or Gideon the util?
Şengün.
How about some unicorn revenge narrative against the Knicks?
No thanks.
I think
That would be back.
he played against them recently and kind of sucked. He missed
Yeah, it was
every
real
shot he
bad.
took. Yeah,
Yep.
he did. He tried, but he didn't make any shots, and that makes it hard. Mike says off topic, but as Roth is sick, team Kleenex or puffs and blowing your nose? I don't blow my nose.
You just wipe it on your shirt, you gross sicko.
No, I just
So
like
that's-
no, I just like go. I do.
use the straight hand. Oh, just go in with the straight hands. Even better.
No, like the snot rocket. Like in
You
the
snot rocket? What do you do if you're in the house? You just shoot it in the sink or something?
into a sink.
In the trash
Yeah.
can?
I'm sick, man.
Jesus.
I'm not sitting there just like
You are sick. You called that.
yeah, a sick puppy. That's right. All right, we're gonna bounce on out of here. Hopefully, I will be better by tomorrow. These guys always fantastic. So for Means, for Ice, for our incredible production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys. We appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.